So this is example 1 on going beyond CPC/TC. So given Km bisects Jm and angle K is congruent to angle N, prove that L is the midpoint of Kn. So in order to do that, and again this is going to be for the flow proof, we're probably going to have to prove the two triangles congruent to each other and then talk about CPC/TC. So if L is the midpoint of Kn, then we will know that KL is congruent to Ln, and we will use CPC/TC to talk about that. So with the flow proof, it might be easier for you to kind of see where you're going. So we're going to put L is the midpoint of Kn. And as I said in the lesson, the reason is going to be definition of whatever it is you're proving, definition of a midpoint. Okay, we will prove that that definition exists. And we know that we need KL congruent to Ln. And we will be able to talk about those through CPC/TC. And that will stem from two triangles being congruent, triangle JKL congruent to triangle MNL. And we don't know a method for that yet, so we're not going to put that reason on there. So in the given information, they have given me Kn bisects or cuts in half Jm. So I know this information, which I will state. And they give us angle K and angle N are congruent. So they've given me one angle and one side, so side is out. They haven't told me about any of the other sides. So side is out, and these are not right triangles, so hypotenuse leg is out. So now I'm down to two potential methods that I could use. Okay, so let's get some information on there. So let's say that angle K is congruent to angle N. That's given. And that's going to give me an angle. Okay, so let me look at my picture. I already know, let's see. And again, it doesn't matter what order I list these in. So Kn bisects Jm. That's given. And that leads me to JL being congruent to Lm. And how do I know that? That is the definition of a segment bisector. Okay, so we are in need of another angle. And if we look at our picture here, we have vertical angles, which I'm going to call 1 and 2. Remember that you can call them KLJ and NLM. I like 1 and 2 because it makes the labeling easier. So angle 1 congruent to angle 2. Why do I have that? Vertical angles are congruent. Okay, so let's see. I have a statement about an angle being congruent. I have a statement about a side being congruent. I have another statement about an angle. And I want to look back at my picture. I have angle, angle, side. So that is the method that I'm going to use to prove the two triangles that are congruent. Notice when I listed them in my flow proof, I have angle, side, angle. Again, be wary that that side has to be in between those angles, so it's always good to look back at your picture, decide on which method you're going to use, and use that as your congruency reasoning, not based on how I listed the information in my proof. And so as you can see, we've proven the triangles congruent through one of our 5 methods. I've talked about the two sides that would prove that L is the midpoint of Kn, and so I can conclude with my final statement and my final reason that L is the midpoint of Kn through the definition of what a midpoint is. KL and Kn are congruent segments, so L must be the point that divides them into such.